Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Joe Jingi. I have a question for you. Do you feel like you're in control of your own life? I'm so busy with work and household chores every day, I have absolutely no time for myself. I'm always being swayed by other people's opinions, and I don't know what I want. If you feel this way, it might be having a significant impact not only on your mind, but also on your physical lifespan. This time, based on extensive research data from over 20 years in the United States, we'll explain, from a medically understandable perspective, how your mindset leads to a longer life. The connection between psychological well-being and longevity is not just a theory. It is backed by one of the most significant longitudinal studies in modern medicine. We will dive deep into how our internal perception of control acts as a biological shield against the wear and tear of daily stress. Understanding this mechanism is the first step toward a healthier, longer life. It's about reclaiming the steering wheel of your biology through your mindset. Join me as we explore the data, the biology, and the practical steps you can take to harness this power for yourself starting today. Let's begin by looking at the monumental study that changed our understanding of aging in the middle years of life. Today, we'll introduce the MIDUS study, conducted in the United States. In Japanese, it translates to the American Middle Age Survey. This is a truly large-scale study that tracked the relationship between mental state and health and lifespan over a long period of 20 or 30 years, involving thousands of middle-aged individuals. In the medical world, there is great importance on actually tracking people and collecting data over decades, rather than relying on mere assumptions. By observing these individuals over such a vast time frame, researchers could filter out temporary fluctuations and find the true core of what drives longevity. The MIDUS study didn't just look at blood pressure or diet. It combined psychological surveys with biological markers to create a holistic view of human aging. This multidisciplinary approach allowed scientists to see patterns that traditional medical studies often miss, particularly the impact of the mind on the body's resilience. Because of its rigor and scale, the MIDUS study is cited globally as a gold standard for understanding the aging process in middle-aged and older adults. What they found was not just about genetics or wealth, but something much more accessible to every one of us. A surprising fact was discovered. This discovery challenges our conventional views on health and places the power of aging directly into the hands of the individual. It all comes down to one keyword. The keyword in this study is sense of control. It's a bit stiff with all those kanji characters. To break this down into ordinary words, it's the feeling that you are in control of your own life. In other words, the degree to which you are holding the steering wheel of your own life. People who are holding the steering wheel, they feel, I decided my own schedule for today, and even if problems arise, I can solve them on my own. People who aren't in control of their own lives, they give up thinking, I'm just doing what my boss or family tells me to do, or there's nothing I can do because of my circumstances. Research shows that people with a strong sense of being in control of their own lives had significantly lower mortality rates after 20 years. In other words, they lived longer. This sense of autonomy acts as a buffer. When we feel we have a choice, the body perceives challenges as manageable rather than overwhelming. It influences our health behaviors, our biological responses to stress, and even our cognitive health as we age. It is a fundamental pillar of well-being. Psychologists call this the locus of control. Those with an internal locus believe they can influence outcomes, which leads to better health management. It's not about being a dictator of your circumstances, but rather about the internal perception that you have a say in how your life unfolds. This perception significantly reduces the risk of chronic diseases. The data is clear. Those who feel in charge simply live longer, healthier lives. Daily agency, the small acts of choosing, builds a cumulative health benefit that adds up over the decades tracked in the MIDUS study. Every time you say, "I choose this," you are sending a signal to your biology that you are safe and in command. Now let's look at the second keyword. Another key term is personality and purpose in life. This doesn't need to be complicated. In short, it's about whether you have a reason to get out of bed every morning. It doesn't have to be a grand ambition. It's about small excitements and goals, such as, "I'll water the tomatoes in the garden today. I'll see my grandchildren this weekend. I'll finish this job." These small anchors keep our minds engaged and our spirits resilient. When people run out of things to do and lose their sense of purpose, the life switch inside their bodies turns off. Having a why is essential for the how. Purpose provides the biological motivation for our systems to keep functioning at their peak. It drives cell repair and immune vigilance. Individuals with a high sense of purpose have lower levels of inflammatory markers and better cardiovascular health across the board. This concept is similar to ikigai, finding your reason for being. It is a powerful predictor of longevity that works independently of other health factors. Purpose gives us a future orientation. It makes us more likely to take care of our health today so we can reach the goals of tomorrow. Without that why, the body's internal drive begins to fade. But why exactly does the mind have such a profound effect on our physical longevity? Some of you might think, "Dr. Cho, isn't it occult to think that your lifespan can change just by your feelings?" However, there is a perfectly valid medical reason for this. Imagine this. You are sitting in the driver's seat of a car. If someone else were to operate the brakes and steering wheel without your consent, wouldn't that be frightening? Our brains are the same. When we are constantly in a state of not being able to do anything about it, our brains experience constant stress. This disrupts the autonomic nervous system, causing blood vessels to constrict and blood pressure to rise. It puts the body in a permanent state of high alert. Furthermore, it makes us more susceptible to chronic inflammation, like a fire, in the body, increasing the risk of heart disease and stroke. This fire of inflammation slowly damages our organs and accelerates the biological aging of our cells, essentially shortening our lifespan from within. When control is lost, cortisol levels remain chronically elevated. High cortisol is linked to weight gain, sleep issues, and a weakened immune response. Over years and decades, these biological responses translate directly into the mortality data we saw in the MIDUS study. It is a physical manifestation of stress. Conversely, people who feel they are in control can manage stress effectively. Their brains perceive the same challenges differently. They can act positively, thinking, "Okay, so next I'll do this," which reduces the release of harmful hormones in the body, protecting blood vessels and the immune system. This proactive mindset keeps the autonomic nervous system in balance, allowing the body to recover quickly from unavoidable stressors. By maintaining this balance, we prevent the fire of inflammation from taking hold, preserving our health for the long term. So, what can we actually do? As a doctor, I offer 3 simple pieces of advice you can start using today. They are small shifts that lead to massive long-term results. 1. Make small choices for yourself. It can be something small like, "For lunch today, I'm definitely going to eat this," not just something randomly. 2. Focus on what you can change, rather than what you can't. You can't change other people's personalities or the weather, but you can 100% decide how you act. 3. Create a small pleasure for tomorrow. "I'll have a delicious cup of coffee tomorrow morning." That alone is a perfectly valid purpose in life. These small wins train your brain to recognize your own agency. They build a muscle of control that strengthens your biological resilience every day. As this muscle grows, your sense of well-being increases, and your body rewards you with better health and a longer life. It's a prescription anyone can fill. How was it? Eating vegetables and exercising are important for health, but just as important is the feeling of walking your own path in life. This rejuvenates our bodies from the inside out. You are the protagonist of your own life, and no one else. Why not start taking control today? If you found this video helpful and would like to learn more about medicine, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video. Goodbye.